Okay guys, and welcome to another Gotham Knights video. I am going to do something a little bit different. Instead, because I'm playing as Batgirl, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the history of Batgirl and a little bit about her character. So, her first appearance was in Detective Comics number 359, January 1967. She was created by Julius Schwartz, Gardner Fox, and Carmine Infantino. A lot of people actually believe that the first Batgirl was Barbara Gordon, and in continuity that is correct. But in all actuality, the first Batgirl that was created was actually Betty Kane. Betty Kane was originally created as Batgirl in Batman 39 in April of 1961. She was featured actually as a love interest to Batman, and her sidekick, who was also named Batgirl, was a love interest for Robin. She appeared several times over the years before replacing him and was basically erased in Crisis on Infinite Earths and reintroduced as Flamebird, later called Hawkfire. The character of Barbara Gordon was actually created by the editor Julie Schwartz. He claimed that when he was planning to make a new Batgirl, he wanted the debut in comics to be matched with the debut for the TV show, for the 1966 Batman show. So Batgirl was introduced simultaneously and became a pop culture icon due to her appearance in the 1960s Batman television series, and because of her continued usage, she's probably the most synonymous with the Batgirl title, even though there have been other Batgirls. As for her origin story, she originally wore the suit at a police masquerade ball.
And I
She was basically trying to dress up as a female counterpart to Batman. While attending the ball, she witnessed the kidnapping of Bruce Wayne by Killer Moth and attracts the attention of Batman, starting her down the path of being the Gotham Knight. Impressed with her skills and detective work, she quickly became part of the Bat
You know why the
family.
boss is so worked up?
A lot of people actually know her from this story, but you can't talk about Barbara Gordon without talking about the Killing Joke. Barbara Gordon is shot and paralyzed in the Killing Joke, ending her run as Batgirl by the Joker. After being shot by the Joker, he takes pictures of her, which is why you usually see him with, like, a camera and her beach outfit. And basically, he tries to kidnap Jim Gordon and prove that every person, basically is just one bad day away from being him. And that's basically, the whole crutch of the Killing Joke. It's that one bad day can actually spiral any person down into being mad or being insane. The story was so popular, though, that it eventually became known as the definitive origin for the Joker, even though it was originally not actually part of continuity. The story being so popular made it into a mainstay in Batman comics.
So you
I'm
can't
gonna
use
wait
a
till
door after all.
the cutscene.
So
is
where
done.
were we?
They're listening. You may have questions, but I can think of a few reasons not to answer them.
Okay, so while I'm actually looking around the room for the bugs, I'm going to also say another big thing, because we were talking about Killing Joke, that came out of it was the
I
major
had that
development
touched up
of Barbara
recently.
Gordon becoming Oracle.
Sadly, my usual guy wasn't
Babs
available.
operates as Oracle from 1988 to, I think, 2011, which would coincide with, like, the New 52. She developed one of the world's most complex and powerful computer systems, becoming a hub of information,
I never
or
liked that
kind of, I
thing.
guess, like an information
Clashes with the
broker
rest of the
for the
decor.
Bat family and other
I'm not even
teams,
sure where
like
it's
the
from.
Birds of Prey, renaming herself Oracle. Um, Realizing basically that she couldn't assist Batman on
Illumination
his
is
war on
important,
crime, being
especially at
wheelchair
my
bound,
age.
she decides
My
that
eyes
she's
aren't what
going to
they
try to
used to
take
be.
this different role, and is actually a very popular role for her,
So
and
you really
it's
are ready
something
to play in the
that
big leagues. I should
basically
drink to that.
stayed, like,
Bring
a
over that
major
bottle of
part
whiskey.
of this character for, obviously a very long time, because we're talking about 1988 all the way to 2011. I'm gonna wait till the cutscene is done.
Here's what I don't get. How come you had to serve your sentence while the rest of your rich friends got a free pass?
They were favored. I wasn't.
Who'd you piss off?
But no one talks about them. Not a whispered word is said.
The Court of Owls isn't real. The Powers Club.
Yep. Where the super rich go for shits and giggles. Might be worth a peek. Personally, I stay far away from that raptor's nest.
But it's fine if I head in there.
I lost years of my life to Blackgate. You go do what you do best. Just don't tell them I sent you.
Okay, so a lot of people are probably wondering at this point if all of this happened and if Batgirl is like
Belfry,
was
did you get all that?
paralyzed, how is she running around now and how am I playing as her? Well, the answer to that question comes from the New 52.
I wouldn't be
Babs
surprised.
basically goes through an
But he seems
experimental
pretty convinced that the Court of
neural
Owls
implant
exists.
surgery after being shot, and basically
Sounds good.
after
Keep in
that
touch.
happens, it kind of fills in, I guess, or bypasses the missing section of her spine and allows her to use her legs. If the implant is damaged or malfunctions, though, Barbara could become paralyzed and or suffer brain damage.
Alfred's been
Now, a
going
lot
out
of
a
people
lately.
probably are looking at this and
Maybe
they're
he's doing some
also,
crime
if
fighting
you're an
himself.
Arrow fan, you're probably wondering, well, didn't that happen to Felicity? Isn't that what her whole story was, like that she got paralyzed? Yes,
He knows this
she
is
did
Gotham,
actually, and it
right?
was probably inspired by Barbara Gordon, much like most of Arrow was inspired by the Batman mythos.
No problem.
I mean, Arrow was inspired by Batman, the Batman mythos. Yeah, sorry, can't speak, guys. Alright, so basically, yeah, the character winds up getting paralyzed in the mid-season finale, and then she winds up regaining her ability to walk due to a chip. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the chip is actually created by her and Mr. Terrific, so I could be wrong on that. As for her abilities, she has, like, strength, speed, agility. As a young girl, she was actually a ballerina. Fighting skills wise, she was basically taught how to fight because her father is the commissioner and, like, lives in a dangerous city, so I'm sure he taught her how to fight, which was a great foundation for Batman to actually build upon with her fighting skills. She's very good when it comes to stealth. Computer hacking is where she is probably like elite. Lockpicking, she's a skilled marksman when it comes to batarangs, and has a genius level intellect. Her genius level intellect is actually due to her photographic memory, and she also currently holds a law degree and a degree in forensic psychology, as well as being a skilled detective due to her father being Jim Gordon. Earlier on, actually, in the story, which I'm not sure if maybe it was the first playthrough or maybe it's this one, but they talk about the idea where Renee Montoya, she's like, did Jim know that Barbara was Batgirl? And in a lot of ways, they are actually toying around with this idea that Jim might have known and never said anything. That is something that happened in Injustice comics, where basically, like, you know, they're sitting there and Jim is dying from cancer,
Shit,
and
where'd you
Barbara
come from?
basically is like, you know, upset, but she's a Batgirl, so she can't really show it as much. And he basically, like, you know, kind of pulls like a Spider-Man scene with Aunt May where it's like, hey, like, you know, take that mask off. I want to see my, like, you know, my daughter one last time. It's okay. And she's like, you knew? And he's like, of course I knew, because I'm a friggin' detective. Like, like, yeah, I knew. So, yeah, but yeah, so fun facts actually about Barbara Gordon. She is actually included in a lot of film, television, animated series, video games, and other stuff. Often because of that, she is the most synonymous with the title, like I said earlier. Another thing cool about Barbara Gordon that I actually didn't know until doing some research was Barbara Gordon was actually briefly married to Dick Grayson
What's a
slash
gal like you
Nightwing,
doing in a place like
but
this?
the marriage was actually quickly
Same
annulled.
as you.
So that's probably why I didn't know anything
Visiting
about
an
it,
old
and why
friend.
majority of people probably don't know anything about it.
I keep waiting
But
for him to step down and,
yeah,
I don't know, get
that's
some inspiring
that's a lot of
speech.
the
Tell us to get
information
back
that
to
I
work.
learned about Batgirl and that I wanted
Jesus,
to
Jim.
share with you guys in the meantime.
You would have hated this. They put you on an actual damn pedestal.
Maybe he'd understand. He always said people needed symbols. Something to believe in.
Yeah, but we both know he meant you bats. Not him. Except with the squared up jawline and better glasses.
They changed his face?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, but it looks nothing like him. Wish we had him back.
Yeah. Me too.
See you later, Jim. Batgirl.
He looks just like I remember.
And because I actually mentioned this earlier, the photographic memory, that's one of the things that kind of bothers her as a character, probably, is the idea that, or it's going to probably play a bigger role. I didn't actually play as Batgirl the first time around, so I don't really know too much about her backstory. As a matter of fact, most of the upgrading I did was through, you know, in-game lessons. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably place my bets on the idea that Batgirl is probably not remembering her father as well as she wants to, and she's basically going to have some kind of an issue with the idea that she just can't remember his voice or something along those lines. So I think that that's actually, like, you know, why they kind of really zeroed in on that statue situation, and basically how she felt about that.
Gotcha. There he is.
Colonel Kane.
Sergeant Pennyworth. I'm sorry I had to push our meeting so late. Work never seems to stop in this city.
Oh, I can certainly relate. The paperwork hasn't let up since Bruce's passing.
Yeah. I still can't believe it.
Burying Bruce was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. Do you remember what I told you after Martha and Tommy?
You said, life matters when death matters.
We take the living for granted until they're gone. I don't know what the Wayne Foundation will do without Bruce.
I trust Master Grayson has been helpful as you adjust?
Yeah, he sure has. Dick had his first investor call the other day. I'm surprised how well he did.
Every day I find...
You geezers escaped from the old folks' home. Don't you know it's dangerous out here at night?
Every day I find new reasons to be proud.
I gotta love how they're just kind of like ignoring him though.
Empty your pockets or I empty the gun.
Yo, Alfred was like, yo, you want to get him or should I?
You know what? Never mind.
Quite the about face.
That punk didn't know who he was messing with. Come inside. We'll have a drink, catch up.
Don't have to twist my arm. Let's not be long, though. I wouldn't want anyone to worry.
All right, Belfry. What do you have on the court?
The Court of Owls, a secret society as old as Gotham itself, who run the city behind closed doors, according to the old poem anyway.
I remember reading about them when I was a kid. But why would Penguin send us after an old story?
If this all-powerful court really is out there, they might be the ones getting all those creeps out of Blackgate. Which means they've been getting away with murder for centuries.
Yeah, I'm being very direct.
Let's hope a visit to the Powers Club leads somewhere.
It was actually crazy how quickly I could upgrade Batgirl because her combat is really, really good. I was kind of just sleeping on the idea of playing against her because like, I just really love doing the stealth stuff as well, and I love doing a lot of that other stuff. And I kind of felt like her combat and the way that she moved was going to be so similar to Batman. I've been playing at Arkham games since like,
Come on, spill.
what, like '09? So, and I, you know, the funny thing is too, is that, speaking of Arkham games, because this is one of the things that was bothering me before the game came out, and now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh man, the Arkham games are so amazing when it comes to the combat, when it comes to the gameplay, and I was like, that would have been great foundation, but now I'm sitting here and I'm playing through it, and when I was playing co-op, I realized the combat would be so messy if they would have did it that way. If we would be playing co-op and you're doing like, you know, a combat mission and you turn around and your friend accidentally hits somebody, it breaks your combat and it'll mess everything up. And as much as I love the combat, I mean, it still feels like its own thing and it still feels great. I do wish that they had kind of like a counter button. Like, even if the combat wasn't exactly the same, I do wish that we had actually like a counter button and that takedown buttons, like, you know, if you pressed triangle and circle, or if you pressed square and X or something like that to do takedowns, so that it's a little bit more intentional rather than it just kind of being automatic. That is one of the things that I do wish, but I feel like the game is also very simple, so that it's very, like, you know, player friendly, I guess, in that way. The thing is, the difficulties on normal and my build for Batgirl is on like a whole other level.
I'm at the Powers Club.
What I'm currently using is actually a transmog, so a lot of her suits, they're always going to look the same because I always love using that suit.
Which means I
But,
have no idea what's inside.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway, though, guys, I'm gonna have to go. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content, let me know. Peace.